I find hope instead in these very small stories where people have found their own mundane, ordinary ways of changing things and of standing up. Like the man whose female colleague was constantly being asked to take the notes and to make the coffee in every meeting, and who he knew felt that she was being pushed into a kind of secretarial role and she wasn't being considered for promotions, but he knew she didn't want to complain because she feared, understandably, being seen as a harridan, as a troublemaker, making a fuss about nothing. He felt so frustrated because he couldn't go over her head and complain against her will, but he wasn't very powerful in the company. He was a new starter himself. He didn't know what he could do. And then he realized there was something in his gift to change the situation. He started turning up at the meetings a few minutes early and making the coffee. And it made a massive difference to her, even though it was a very, very small thing. Or the man who wrote that he'd been reading the Everyday Sexism Project website and seeing these stories of women and how sexual harassment impacted them, and he'd never considered it before, and he determined that the next time he saw it, he would take action, he would do something. And he was walking down the street a few days later, and he saw some men on a building site shouting at two women ahead of him on the pavement, and they were shouting, "Get your tits out!" And he said, I panicked. I knew this was my moment. I had to do something, but everything went out of my head, and I couldn't think of what to do, and the moment was passing, so I lifted up my T-shirt, and I showed them mine instead. And it was a really silly, tiny thing, but it got the job done. It sent them the message, it would be ridiculous to do it to me, so why are you doing it to them?